What's going on, everyone? Happy Memorial Day to everyone. Hopefully, you're enjoying the weather where you're at. A lot of people are enjoying nice weather today. Some are still dealing with this pesky area of low pressure that is over the Carolinas and Virginia. New England, you're dealing with a cooler day today after you had near 90s. In several areas, a backdoor cold front has come through, and it's actually made it to just south of New York City. And I think it's actually made it to here in Philadelphia where I'm at because it is perfectly sunny. And the clouds that we had last night have shifted southward. And you can see it here on satellite. They are continuing to try to be pushed south. Texas, a little bit unsettled today. The plains, a little bit unsettled. No major threat of severe weather today, just marginal. There is a slight risk for excessive rainfall in portions of Texas. I'll explain about that. The West Coast, just a few minor showers in California for today. Take a look at the national radar. Showers continue in Virginia and North Carolina. There'll be some thunder showers today in Georgia and South Carolina. Just garden variety thunderstorms. You can see here some showers ongoing in the plains. Nothing terribly impressive, and some light showers in California. Taking a look at the national hazards map, whole lot of nothing going on. There are some flood warnings up in Virginia from this storm system. Flash flood watches up in the mountains of California and Nevada. That's because of the ongoing snow melt. Taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see here there is a marginal risk of severe weather for parts of the plains today. Tornado is low, below 2%. Wind and hail are at 5%. If anything, you'll see a few wind and hail reports today. Tomorrow is also a marginal risk in a couple areas, Minnesota, and again in the plains. Nothing terribly impressive. Could it go up to a slight risk for wind or hail? Sure, it's possible. And same with day 3. There's a marginal risk from Texas on up in through Nebraska. If anything, I do think this is the best chance of going slight risk just because the fact that it's day 3 and it's already marginal gives it the probability that, hey, it could go to a slight risk. Take a look at the Weather Prediction Center. There's your area of low pressure. That is over Virginia and North Carolina. Then we do have this red outlined area down here in Texas. And what that is the slight risk for excessive rainfall. And let's time this out on the HRRR model. You can see here, here's your low over Virginia and North Carolina. The showers will persist all day long. Some garden variety thunderstorms will pop up over South Carolina and Georgia. And then watch what happens over Texas. You do get this moisture that develops from this area of energy, just a ball of energy over Texas. Then you do get some showers and thunderstorms up in the plains. But this ball of energy over Texas is something we're going to have to watch. It transfers to this energy in the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see the low in the Atlantic. It continues to spin, tries to get going a little better tomorrow evening, fails to do so. But then this low in the Gulf starts to get going. And that's something we'll have to watch. It's going to make its way from the Gulf across Florida. And remember, Florida desperately needs rain. So this is good news. And then it's going to end up in the Atlantic. What it does from there is a question mark on the models. Let me show you. So here's the GFS model. And the GFS continues to show the current system that's over to North Carolina and Virginia. That will continue to spin for multiple days. It'll just basically be an easterly flow with showers at some point. Here's that Wednesday storm potential that I was talking about. But watch what happens here. That energy I was talking about that goes into the Gulf and eventually ends up over Florida. As you can see here, it's just showers and thunderstorms. But then the pressure starts to build up. And you can see here, a broad area of low pressure gets going. Then it becomes a little bit more defined. And at this point, we're all the way up to next Sunday. You can see here another round of showers and thunderstorms in Texas and the plains. This one is a little more interesting. Could go to the slight risk to maybe even enhanced category if it really got together. But look what happens here. Another round of low pressure. Now the question is, does this stay more east or does it track more west and bring precipitation, clouds, below average temperatures over the southeast coast? That's something we'll have to watch. The other interesting aspect is, look what happens above it. You do have this ridge above it. So you're actually going to have a blast of hot weather that comes into the northeastern states. So that's something we'll have to watch. And you can see here throughout next week, just showers and thunderstorms in the plains. Almost daily, quiet weather on the west coast. let's take a look at the temperatures on the GFS. Here's for today. Very beautiful day in the Northeast. If you don't have to go home today from your holiday destination, stick around another day. It's just going to be absolutely gorgeous weather up there. And the Pacific Northwest, not a bad day either. But watch what happens as we come in for later in the week. Here's Tuesday, a little bit warmer in the Northeast. And look at the plains. Not terribly hot, but it does start getting warmer. Wednesday, even hotter in the Northeast. And look at Thursday. Yes, back to near 80s in place, or 90s, places like Maine, Boston. Even Pennsylvania is going to start to heat up. And I think the peak of this will likely be, at least for Pennsylvania, will likely be on Friday. Even New York City, you're looking at 90s on Friday. And southwest of this, you can see here we do have this bubble of warm air as well. But look down in the Carolinas. You can see it's stuck in the 70s. That's that storm system that will continue to spin off the southeast coast. And as we head into next weekend, yeah, look what happens here. Another backdoor cold front in the northeast. And cooler air does come back in again. Now, it doesn't last for long. But another warm-up comes, and look what happens. Then comes an actual cold front out of the northwest that will go southeast. And look what happens here. Yes, cooler air will slice into the northeast. And again, average to maybe even slightly below average temperatures. It's just quite remarkable. And you can see here down in the south, finally, now we're into the 300 hours. Less reliable, but finally the heat does build in the south. So a little bit different than what we're seeing this time last year in the south, where many places were seeing record warmth, especially Texas. So this is some good news. Now let's take a look at the European for that low pressure real quickly. And taking a look at the Euro here, you can see here the Euro paints a different picture. Now we're into Thursday. Here's that old area of low pressure that we've been tracking all weekend. That still sits out there. Some of that energy gets worked up into this system as well. But look what happens next weekend. Clouds and showers in the southeast coast. So places like the Outer Banks, Myrtle Beach, yet again, yeah, you're not going to have nice weather. I'm sorry for the tourist destinations and the businesses, but it's just going to be a battleground with this. Even if this stays more east, you're still going to have that onshore flow. You're still going to have wind, and I think you'll still have some clouds. But we got all week to watch this. We'll see what happens. The Euro actually gets it going off east of the New England coast, and look at that. It really gets wound up. 978 millibar low. It's the only model that's that strong. And then watch what happens here. Yes, you have this well below average pattern that sets up at the end of the Euro. You almost have this upper level closed low that starts to get going over the northeast. If that were to happen, temperatures would be 5 to 10 degrees below average because you would have a persistent flow that's spinning around and around, developing daily showers, thunder showers, maybe even a marginal hail risk. So, yes, this is not a normal pattern as we're heading into June for the Northeast. The West Coast, things are going to be tranquil. You'll have a few periods of showers in the plains, like I have said. I think you're going to have daily showers and thunderstorms. Real quickly, taking a look at the drought index here. Florida, bad drought. You're going to get some relief from this system that's going to come out of the Gulf, but I don't think it's going to do much to end your drought situation. Where we will see some slight improvement is in the plains. With these daily showers and thunderstorms, it will make a small dent into your drought situation. And taking a look here at the WPC forecast, you can see here, there is some heavier rain expected in parts of Florida. It's not necessarily where you want it to be, though. You can see Miami, the eastern side of Florida, where the drought is worse in the western side. It's not looking all that good. In the plains, you can see here, 1 to 3 inches of rain, isolated 4 inches of rain. That will help your drought situation. I am becoming very concerned from about New England through Pennsylvania. Very dry stretches coming over the next 1 to 7 days. And we can go back to the map here. Yeah, it's starting to get dry up here. I think we're going to head into at least a marginal drought. Maybe if not, if things don't change soon, we could head towards moderate drought here by mid to late June, unless a wetter pattern sets up. If the European's correct, that showery pattern would set up, but it wouldn't do all that much, honestly. Moving on to the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Above average temperatures in the north. You can see here, below average in Texas, where those daily showers and thunderstorms occur. and below average on the southeast coast, regardless of where that next low tracks. The east low is going to be there. Taking a look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, much of the east below average. We haven't been able to say that to start a summer in several years. Below average in the Four Corners region, well above average in the northwest. 6 to 10 day precipitation, there it is, dry across the Great Lakes. I'm really concerned about drought situation in the northeast. Above average in the west, and a couple well above average areas, slightly above average in the southeast and Florida. And then 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, above average in much of the west, near normal to below average from the Great Lakes through to the northeast, and near normal in half of Florida, slightly above average north of Florida. Alrighty, that does it for today's weather outlook. We'll have another weather outlook later on this week as the weather warrants one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button down below. Have a great holiday, and if the weather's nice where you are, get out and enjoy it.